all right, everybody. Welcome. It's been 3 weeks. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Movers. I'm Dwight Mack, and we got Ryan Marsh in the building again, helping us out. And Ryan, what is up?
That's it. What is up is the wheels on a plane, man, because I've been basically plane hopping across the country. It's conference season. It's here. It's probably the most daunting time of the year, but it's also one of my favorite times of the year because connecting with customers, future customers, and just friends and vendors and partners in the industry. It's cool to get back around the table again and see everybody. It's been fun, but definitely I'm drained and I'm only 4 weeks in at this point. So I got another 60 days or so worth of conferencing, and then I'll be able to take a breather.
Hmm. Okay. Um, so tell everybody, I guess, how that moving Titans retreat went.
Ooh, it was, and I know we haven't talked in a couple weeks, and I apologize for not being here, but tied up in these conferences, and our company had some speaking engagements and things, so it's been a whirlwind. But the Titan retreat was fire, man. Like I don't even know how to. It was moving, it was energetic, and I was very hopeful leaving that conference because it was like the new age of people taking over the industry. It was the up and coming movers and moving companies that are all about change, all about finding new ways to work. And I think the biggest takeaway is that I got of this is these guys all they check their Rolexes, check the fancy car, everything is checked at the door. And when they come into this conference, they're all humans, and everybody was sharing their trade secrets, how they do what they do, why they do. Really kind of mentoring some of the younger moving companies that have 1 to 3 trucks or what have you. And to I put myself back as a mover. If I had the ability as a 1 or 2 trucker to get in front of the JC Caldwells, the Stephen Reeds, the Brian Slaters of the world, I mean that's a huge opportunity. And
Hmm
these guys shoot you straight. Like they don't BS anything. They're some of the kindest, most humble humans, and very fortunate to spend that entire week hanging out with um, these up and coming industry legends, and they're just great ass people. Like throw the moving stuff all out the door and the window. Like these guys are just wonderful humans. Like, they were picking my brains, asking me how I did things. It wasn't like, hey, because I've got a, $150 million company, like I'm not talking to Ryan. Like, no, they were taking some nuggets of things that I did that they're going to implement immediately. And I was taking some things that they did or that they do that never even quite frankly thought of. So the networking was incredible. The sessions were very, very educating. It wasn't just your generic insurance panels or a generic tech panel. It was guys that are in the space, rocking and rolling with it now, and they broke it down. And the way they spoke, everybody in that room could understand. Because when you're talking about AI, right, most people don't understand. AI can be difficult to talk about or understand. And the way that these guys did it was just even the not so educated guy in the room was able to pick up on how to do, what to do, and how he can start using it today. And no, very powerful. I'm pumped up for the next one. They just announced March of next year, and
Okay.
it's gonna be good, man. There was about 300 moving companies that were there, um, so it was insane.
It's
Like
definitely they definitely came very far with starting this up and stuff like that, and being one of the main big moving conferences now in the industry. I know there's a couple others out. No, probably one really. There's a couple others out there, but the one other one, I just feel like they're not really targeting our side of the industry.
Hey everybody, my name is Dwyght Mack with Max Moving Training. So we're gonna be doing a move and a pack today. But before we go in, there's just 10 basic rules that we just need to know before participating with this service. So number one, understand moving is a very, very stressful thing. The customer, they're uplifting their life from one location to another. They're having to call all these vendors and get all these suppliers in place so that basically they can make that transition. So their stress level is at the highest right now. We need to be a service provider that comes in and basically keep that stress level mitigated or very low. You know, come in as professionals and do our job the way we know how to do our job so that this customer is less stressed during that move process. Number two, be on time. You know, first impression is everything. You know, you guys showing up outside of the window rubs the customer the wrong way. It messes up the rest of the move process. Even if you guys do the best job y'all can do, because one thing was off, you know, this customer's mood is just off. Go up and beyond, you know, be there before the time, you know, as long as they're okay with it.
They definitely is targeting the trucking industry, and it's like they're in the labor groups, but it's like I feel like they're targeting all of the independent drivers, not like the company.
Yeah, there was a lot of I mean, I would say predominantly it was independent movers. Now, yes, there were some van line agents there and things like that, but this one was, I mean, I'd say, you know, very close to 200 plus independent movers across the country. And unfortunately, because of the, you know, Hurricane Helene that was there were some companies that couldn't make it, or there were companies that were, quite a few people that I was really excited to meet couldn't make it because their companies are running, you know, 10x at this point to assist with the hurricane relief. And now, obviously, you got the new hurricane that just rolled through yesterday and into this morning. So, you know, hey, those guys had to do what they had to do, and much respect and love for those guys doing what they did. So
Yeah, it could definitely probably been a lot bigger without this storm.
100%. Yeah. I mean, there would have been another, I'd say 40 to 60 people, I would say,
Mhm.
that would have attended. I mean, it was good. Location was great. Like I said, I mean, it was overall, it was probably it was definitely in the top three conferences I've ever been to. And I've
Yeah,
been to a crap ton. I'll tell you that.
yeah, no, and that's saying a lot because again, um, I seen the booths in a very small clip, and it was just like a lot of the vendors, whatever the case is. Like you talking about, hey, you had Moving Pro in attendance, Super Move, probably Smart Moving in attendance. You had Rotate Digital and Mover Search Marketing in attendance. It's just like all
Yeah.
these nice competitors, just all in one nice place.
You know,
Just
and I'll tell you, it was cool. I got the opportunity to meet Jason from Move It Pro, and you know, this is where you know things get a little, you know, things could potentially get weird, right? Because you got, you know, competitors all in the same room. Like, I think you know me well enough, Dwight. Like, I don't care for competitors in the room, right? Like, we're all humans. We're all here to service the moving industry. We're all here to do, you know, right by our movers, because without our movers, there's no need for us. And there's no reason we can't be friends and be good humans towards each other. And that definitely proved to be the case. Because I met met every CRM, you know, mover suite. I met all these guys. And I love just about all of them, I would say, because they do communicate, they do high five, they'll have a beer with you at the bar. And you know, Jason came right up, introduced himself, and you know, gave us some compliments, which I think is huge. You know, he loves the content that we're putting out there. He loves what we're doing, and I just thought that was really really cool of him to kind of extend the olive branch, him and his team, and you know, rightfully so. Same thing. Like, I appreciate and love what Jason's doing over there at Move It Pro, and you know, we had, you know, some amazing. You know, you got two fierce competitors standing in a room having a drink together, having like just beautiful conversations, and like that's magic to me. You know,
Mm.
just because there's a competitor in the room doesn't mean you got to kick them in the neck. Like, to me, that's old school. Like, we all need to, at some point, all our systems are going to need to talk, because there's not going to be, at least in my opinion. Now, yeah, who wouldn't love to have one CRM system that just dominates and takes over the industry? I just feel that, you know, everybody operates so differently within this space that there's never going to be that one point solution or that one CRM that everybody just has to have. You know, because based on how you operate, you might like one or the other, and that's cool. But as this industry continues to roll and these independents continue to work tighter and tighter together with sharing loads, jobs and things, like, our companies are going to have to talk. Our CRM
Hmm.
are going to need to talk so we can pass information to and from. So that was cool to kick off some of those relationships with those guys, and also meet a lot of really cool ass vendors that are potentially going to be future partners that we can work with down the road.
Gotcha. No, that definitely makes sense. I was the monkey in the room with the other CRM competition.
You know, it's like, I have no issue. Like, again, backing up to what I said before, right? I make friends before I do anything or pass any judgment, and I don't pass judgment, right? Like, They can do what they want to do. I'm an open book. I give high fives. There's only one competitor that will not talk to me, doesn't look at me, and that's their choice, right? Like, I have no hate. I got nothing but love for everybody in this industry, and honestly, I like and respect what they do. Like, I'm fans of them, right? So, you know, I don't even want to go into to discussion on that, because, like I said, it's no skin off my back, right? There's not a single competitor, at least in our space, that I don't talk to except for one, and that's not a choice that I've made. That choice is out of my control. We'll leave it at that. But no, I love and respect what they're doing.
Number 3, make sure your team is in uniform, they're groomed, their hygiene is checked, because that's the worst thing you could do, especially going in a house. Customer can smell your guy from a mile away, and now, again, their mood is just thrown off. So make sure that you guys are in uniform, you're tight, you have uniform shirts, it doesn't look like, you have a laborer that's, hired from off the street. Presentation is everything that goes towards your first impression. Number 4, introduce both you and your partner when greeting the customer. Don't just go to the door by yourself, while your driver is unloading the truck, and introduce yourself. Actually have both of you there. Introduce yourself first, then introduce your partner second, and then, allow them to welcome you into their home.
I have met a couple of their teammates, and they're really awesome people. There's just a few others that I have that I'm around all the time that I haven't got the opportunity to shake their hand and say, "Hey, love what you're doing. Keep it up." Like, rooting for you. Like, truly, we're all in this together.
So I know Movies was in the building. Was there any other sales competition in the building?
I think it's just Tim and MoveBees. Is That's all that I saw when it came to that space for, like, call center wise.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause I didn't know if moving
Elevate
sales
moving
was
sales was not there. No.
okay. Yeah, I didn't think they were stopping in. But yeah, no, the vendor list and sponsor list was steep. I definitely seen it. That's awesome. Um, 'Cause, you remember back in the days, probably about a few years back, when you would go to like a Lewis event, what the case is, you didn't really see in the open area what the case is. Hey, it's just me,
Yeah.
come stop at our tables and make sure you get registered. And it was still a huge event, without
Oh,
a
no doubt.
doubt. But it was just like to have all of those sponsors there. Like, hey, you know what? Everybody can win. Everybody can eat.
Yeah. That's my whole thing is there's enough food out there where every one of us can eat, and we can all learn from one another. And again, I tie it back into, if we don't do the best thing that we can for our movers, there's no reason for any of us to exist. So no, and I think having vendors at conferences, to me, is critical. It allows movers to see what's out there. To me, it also keeps vendors and companies like ours, keeps us straight upfront and honest, because we're actually hearing amazing feedback or critical feedback that we can bring back to the team to make adjustments or to pivot in a particular direction, whatever. But also, the money that's spent from these vendors is what really truly drives the conference and allows them to do some of the magical things, hire the speakers, have the really amazing event centers and things like that. So we just had this conversation with New Jersey. It's like, leverage the snot out of us to assist in making this conference even more amazing than it already is. Like, we're a tool for you guys. For an association, for a conference, or what have you. Like, leverage the shit out of us. Like, we want to be a part of this.
Yeah, and there's no offense, I guess, on the local chapters, but similar to what you were saying off screen, it's one of those things where I feel like I'm in sex ed back in the days, in the 80s, even though I wasn't there, but I, watched those videos. And, they're watching those black and white screens, most boring thing in class. And that's what I kind of feel like at the local chapter, here's the energy. We're talking about, the most boringest of topics as a moving company. And you're like, oh, we're going to be going over regulations and what you guys should be doing and blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, you're here all day for it. Like,
I'm not saying it's not important, the insurance aspect, the regulations, and 100% it is, right? No doubt. But, instead of having an hour-long regulatory piece, let's chop that down. You can get that message across in 15 minutes. My thing is, but it's also at that kind of local association level, it's also hard to, have breakout sessions and roundtable sessions because these guys are all competing in the same state. Right. So like if Dwyght, you and I are both competing in New York and we're across the street from each other, do you think I'm going to give all my secrets to you? No. And are you going to kind of give me all your secrets and particular accounts you're working? Like, absolutely not. So, it was definitely different. I came to this conference, the Titan Retreat, with a very open mind. Not sure what it was going to bring or what it was going to do, what I was going to gain from it, just because of all my previous experience with, kind of those local chapter conferences where all the competitors are in the same room, right across the street from each other. And this was just different. People were sharing ideas, people were sharing thoughts, and they were giving up the secrets, right? So East Coast guy was giving the West Coast guy his secrets. The North guy was giving the South guy his secrets. And I even saw like same company's hometown, like obviously not discussing rates or anything like that because that's 100% illegal there, but just tactics and how they handle certain issues with customers, how they tackle a particular claim. And it was just that conference to me was, like I said, everybody checked their BS at the door. Everybody took off their competitive hats and everybody was truly there to uplift and support everybody. And I think that was a big takeaway for me. It's like, we can all come together in this industry to better one another. And that was done this past week down in Tampa.
yeah. And the crazy part is they keep saying don't, discuss rates or whatever the case is, but in actual reality, you all know what people are charging, one way or another.
Everything's filed anyway, right? So if I want to know what Dwight's charged, I just pull up the freaking up on the New York website. I can see your tariff. Like, no, obviously you can't discuss it. Hey, Dwyght, you're going to do, if you're $200 an hour and I'm 195 an hour, we both say, hey, you know what, Dwyght, let's both raise our rates up to 225, 220, really compete. So
yeah,
I get that aspect, but then I also look at NYSEG. Look what NYSEG does to us here in New York. No competition. They continue to raise rates. Their service sucks.
well, they got the sub suppliers. So
yeah. You get a deal for 6 months, you save about 10 cents a month, and then all of a sudden it's just on this variable rate, and you end up paying 10x anyway. But I was just not even going to NYSEG rant because I am frustrated. But my delivery charges for NYSEG are 2 times the amount of electric I use, and 2 times the amount of the gas I use. So I'm using, for example, $100 worth of electric a month. My delivery charges are $250. So I'm paying $350 for electric, but I'm only using $100 worth of electric. But for them to deliver it to my house, I'm like, what are you delivering this thing in an Escalade, for goodness sakes? At
least you pay attention to that fee, because I looked at the charges and it's to that point where it's like it's never ever clear what it's saying.
It's like
it's clear enough to give me a bill,
Yeah. And honestly, it's like reading the back of a storage contract for a moving company's in a warehouse. Like you're reading and you're like, I have no idea what this, all I know is I want my couch to be stored for 2 months. Like, what is all this? Like, I just want some electric and gas pumped in my house. Like, I have no idea how many therms, how many whatever these things are. And it's crazy because like the business that we have, the same lights, the same equipment, we are open and closed at the same time. There are no lights left on. Our bill is drastically different every single month. And it's like, I use the same damn supply. So where are y'all coming up with these numbers? And they put these I'm not going on NYSEG rant. Let's NYSEG.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to be putting smart meters in very soon into all these houses. I think they sent me a date, but I'm not sure when.
Yeah, we'll see what these smart meters are going to do. But they keep telling me that they're reading the meters down at the sub shop. And it's like, I got y'all on camera and ain't seen a single person. And then they come to find out, oh, they can read it from the street. They just drive their truck by. And I'm like, oh. The last call, you said they physically walk to the meter. Now they just drive by with a phone and zap it. Like, get out of here. Like, I don't know if you hear NYSEG, like, I got some serious issues. Not that you're going to do anything about it, but, Yeah, disgruntled customer here, and I've got no other option to do anything. Y'all got the monopoly here, which is BS. But
Yeah, it's just like so Spectrum, obviously it's always been monopolizing the industry. And just had a lady the other day who was like, "Oh yeah, I'm moving my phone service over to Spectrum because they're giving us free 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 service for a year, and I think we only have to pay like $10 for the phone itself, and and then after the year, I guess it goes up to $38. But I'm like, Spectrum is just trying to really monopolize, even though they're feeding off of Verizon towers.
yeah, we know. I just left. So internet wise, just I don't know how we got down this trail here, this road here, but I just left Spectrum, and I was with them for 15 years. Now we're talking internet, right? I don't have any other. I don't have a $300 package or whatever. So just internet, and it kept going up, man. I was paying about $100 a month for low speed internet, and Empire Access came into town for $55 for their high speed business piece. And I was like, ooh, started asking the neighbors and some of my network at Katie, and they're like, dude, this is great service. So I called Spectrum and just said, hey, not saying I'm going to jump right away, but if I can save 45% and go and get higher speed internet and is just as a reliable network as you all have, like, how do I not do that? I'm like, is there anything you guys can do? I'm like, I'm not looking for you to match their price. I've been with you for 15 years, right? Like, you guys are actually pretty good with me. I don't have issues. Anything you can do, like to, keep me around, sort of say in a very nice way. And they're flat out said, we appreciate you being a customer for 15 years. However, only the new customers get the deal of $55 a month. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, so you're incentivizing bringing on new people, but your loyal most customers that are on auto pay that have never squawked a bit, like you just want to keep. I'm like, nothing, there's nothing you can do. And they're like, sorry. So I was like, okay, let's cancel my service today. But I'm just like thinking about that in
It
a
makes
customer
sense.
service, like customer service wise, though, like, does that make sense? If they would have probably whacked 20, $25 a month off my bill, I would still be paying $25 more than the internet that I could get, and it would be a less of a service.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
weird because I get the loyalty, I get the whole thing when it comes to like this has been a lifetime customer that's really been uplifting our revenue because of how much money they've input. But then at the same token, it's like you sometimes you have rules in place for a reason. So like how most retail places have a 14-day return policy, or if something outside of, let's say you have AT&T or Verizon services and your phone starts malfunctioning as a device. Typically you would think, well, hey, I need to go to AT&T or Verizon to get my phone fixed, but really it's the independent carrier, which is Apple, that you need to go to get your phone fixed. But people don't want to hear that part, like, oh, I didn't pay all this money. I've been with you for 15 years, and this doesn't work, this doesn't work. And we're like, well, hey, because that's something we don't fix, particularly you have to go to your specific dealer. And they're
yeah,
like, well, I wanted it. Can't you just take it back and give me another one or whatever the case is? Well, these are rules that we have in place. It doesn't matter if you it's kind of like weird. Um, But I had a disagreement with, I think, a business customer yesterday where it was like, they're like, oh, well, this thing here is faulty. Can I just give it back to you and get a new one or whatever the case is? And you're just that's not how it works. Especially after you had the window. I'm like, now you're a business customer. You should know that.
yeah,
And you should have a policy, return policy. Well, we got 3 months. Well, what if somebody came back to you in 91 days and said that they would need it, they wanted to return it and want a full exchange? Would you not? Would you accept that, or would you not? Or would you turn around and say, well, you had a whole 90 days? Very similar to moving. If a customer's outside of their claim window of in New York, I think it's in New York is weird. It's like 90 days.
yeah. 90 days for local
So
intra, and it was for interstate was like 9 months, which I
yeah.
thought I thought that was. I'm like, 9 months. Now, obviously, if it goes into a storage facility or storage unit, like no, it's done at that point. All characteristics of the shipment end. But that's what always threw me off. I'm like, so you're telling me you can move me now from New York to PA, just across the border, right? 8 miles, technically interstate move. I got 9 months to make a claim.
You know
Like,
how much stuff can get broken at that time, and just say that somebody else broke it, and you got to
yeah,
have all these detailed pictures.
yeah. How many people are karate chopping that? Like, that's crazy to me. But then again, you know what? Moving company doing the right piece, having digital inventory, whatever the case is, they can combat a lot of that. But 9 months is, I mean, after 9 months, I forgot I did the move, for goodness sakes, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
forgot I moved. So yeah, 9 months to me is too long. Like,
Yeah,
get through the stuff.
I did final mile delivery for a good while, and that's the same concept with final mile delivery is that people have like 9 months or over a little over 90 days. No, not nine, like a little over 90 days to file a claim. So they tell you, when you pick it up from the warehouse, make sure you inspect the carton, inspect the box, blah, blah, make sure there's no major damage. But it's crazy because the warehouse we was picking up from used nothing but forklifts to move stuff around. So the forks were like digging in the boxes or whatever the case is. And then, we would go take it to the customers' houses, set it up, whatever the case is, make sure it works in front of them, and then go about our business. And then, we hear like in 2 months, oh, you remember that delivery you did 2 months ago? It was something wrong with it. It was malfunctioning. So we're gonna have to charge you. Charge me?
Yeah.
And the fact that you're charging me way more than what you paid me for the delivery is insane.
Yeah. Now, some of that, if you gotta be careful, some of that final mile stuff, man, the money's just not there. Again, it depends on the product that you're doing, the volume of it, and what have you. But I know a lot of companies like, yeah, we do final mile, and I'm like, what are your margins? And they're just like, 8%. I'm like, oh, you guys are filling trucks, doing runs. Like at that point, like give me a local move. Like, me, I'm
Hmm.
all about the commercial aspect, but yeah, I'm gonna take a local move over that at this point. I mean,
Well,
8%.
they say you got to keep the guys working.
Yeah, and you can if you're diversified, but if you're gonna sit there and continue to take on 8%, you know, margin of gross profit, like, oh my gosh, like you can't win. You can't win. And really, it's like you're at that point, you're a charitable organization because by the time you pay the guys, by the time you pay for the lights, by the time you pay, and this as a business,
Hmm.
like there's nothing left. You're a charity at that point. I'm giving all to everybody, and ain't nothing back to the house. How do you
Yeah,
yell that way?
you
You
got to
can't.
learn. You definitely got to learn how to break it down some. Like we turned away one final mile delivery company because they were like, "Oh yeah, we want you to deliver mattresses only." And I'm like, "Mattresses? Okay, we can do that." But then it was like, "We'll give you $100 for mattresses." Okay, that's not bad. I can make that work. But
What's the volume?
what they want us to remove old mattresses from the customer's residence and replace it with the new mattresses. Again, it's still not bad, but what are we doing with those old mattresses? Oh, it's up to you. You have to recycle them, of course. Oh, well, we got to recycle them. The junk removal for one mattress is $100. Because obviously it's mattresses, so they charge you a specific fee just to dump a mattress. So it's $100 per mattress, but you only give me $100 to deliver the new mattress. How are we supposed to get that junk removal fee?
Your truck, your fuel, the depreciation, your wages, like you just lost a crap ton of money on that one.
So I'm like, maybe we do, we pay these guys 30 minutes in and out of the house. Granted, let's say 30 minutes is $10 because, full hours 20, whatever. So we are now two guys, $20 in total. We got $80 left. Pay them for their miles and time or whatever the case is for the delivery, make it worth it for them. Now we're talking about maybe $70 left over to try to figure out, oh, we got to cover fuel. Can't forget that. Then you're like, well, hey, we got to find a way to get rid of that mattress. And obviously, so they said, well, the most we could do is 125. Well, no matter how many mattresses I stack up, 100, 100, 100, 100, 25, 25, 25 is going to add up to one.
Hey, like the only win there, like, hey, this is tailgate delivery. They got to make sure the mattress on the front porch. We drop the new one off on the front porch. Give me $175 per mattress, and I will have a big burn bear. I'll be burning mattresses at the warehouse.
Right. So, you know, ultimately
You
just,
drop them off at Samaritan centers or something like that too, and then write that
well, it
donation.
depends on the conditions of the mattress because, you know, some mattresses are
Oh,
super disgusting.
oh, trust, yeah, man. My 13 years in it, you know how many mattresses I've seen where I'm just like, you sleep on that? And this is with the sheets on. I don't even can't imagine what it looks like with the sheets on. I'm like, you guys like eat cereal in bed? Like, did you cook dinner in bed last night? Like, this is gross. Like, tell me this is your dog bed. And even then, my dog sleeps on a cleaner bed than that. But hey, to each their own
It
on how they
was
sleep.
it was hilarious back in the day when I used to go in the field and as soon as we about to lift up a mattress and the mattress kind of looks disgusting or whatever the case is, I pull out my gloves out of my pocket and I put them in my hand and my guy looks at me like, how'd you get gloves? And I'm just like, you didn't come prepared today?
Did you ever have this? I'm sure you have, or you didn't look for whatever the case is. But obviously, king bed, I was always a firm, always like, hey, is it split box or is it king box, right? I'd always ask the customer, hey, do you mind if I just go? Is it? No, I always ask the customer first, hey, is it split box or is it a full king, or platform, whatever. And half the time they're like, I don't know. Somebody, do you mind if I take a peek? So I go to the center of the bed, lift up the sheet, I go pull up the mattress just a tiny bit, and you see those bed bugs sitting there, and you're just like
Mm.
instantly you're like, oh no, like get me out of here. Yeah, that happened quite a few times. And it's like, hmm, how many times you come across cockroaches in your day?
We try to stay, well, I haven't came across them. I can't say my guys did, but I try to stay out of those messy houses. Like my whole thing when I first started was like we would never ever do project moves.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of projects around us, but we try to stay away from them as much as humanly possible.
I had
And
some like $1 million homes with cockroaches. I'd be in the basement, like
oh
walking in,
geez.
and I'm just like, again, this is gonna sound bad, but I really didn't know what cockroaches really were or had seen one up until I got into the moving business. And I remember being in that basement, and again, it was in South Corning. It was like a 5,200 square foot home. It was like 1.4 mil is what it ended up selling for. And I'm in the basement, I'm like, damn, those are some big bug. Like, and they were dead, but I'm like, man, what are these crispy things? So of course I'm looking at it, and thank gosh for the old Google piece. So I'm just like, I take the picture and I'm like, should be North American cockroach. Like, and then it's like, you're going through the home and it's like, well, yeah, obviously if there's dead ones, there's some live ones as well somewhere in here, whether they're in Xboxes, TVs, or whatever the case is. So it's like, nope, we ain't touching this one. But how do you tell the customer at that point, like in a nice way, like, yeah, we
Yeah.
ain't touching this.
Yeah, we had when we started doing those because they started cleaning out the housing apartments out in Albany because they were renovating them. You know, they said, "Oh yeah, we'll give you the bid to move all of these people and stuff like that." And you like, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, this is the only bid I ever won. Bidding on a lot of stuff at this time. I, I don't know. So we decided we said we'll give it a shot. They say, yeah, we sent somebody in the house to inspect the house for cleanness before you guys show up or whatever the case is. Okay, yeah. So we show up to customers' houses. Their houses are jam packed full with stuff. Closets are jam packed. And one time the guys moved one of the bins and there was a mouse that was flat, like a flat pancake on the floor because the bin done smashed it. And I was like, they was like, oh, this is so disgusting. I'm like, they're like, we don't want to really move none of this stuff. Like, we got to go home to our own kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
but
and then,
hoarders homes, you ever come across one like
yes,
like a legit, when I say like
yes.
legit, like I'm saying like you're pawing through gut, like, and I'm just like, yo.
So I had one of those that we was gonna offer a customer three services. We was gonna offer them the junk removal, moving, and then cleaning services.
See,
And
you
then
better change that term. You can't say junk removal because the customer get pissed off. It's decluttering services is what I call it.
that
Even
is
though,
true.
even though it's junk. I mean, that's why these hoarders are hoarders, man. They don't see it as junk. They see it as memories, this, that, like it's I had a very interesting case of this, and when I finally, because I drove an hour and a half to do this survey, right? This is before virtual surveys
Mhm.
and whatnot, and sweet old lady. But as soon as I pull up to the house, overgrown bushes, like I don't know how this lady. I don't think she ever leaves her house, but she opens up the door, and I'm just like, yo, like what is like almost like a horror movie. And like she was like falling into piles of trash, like all, and I'm just like, what the, well, long story short, she kind of like came clean because I'm like, I don't even know, like, what are you bringing? She's like, everything. I'm like, her husband had passed away, it was like 14, 15 years ago at the time. And he did the garbage. He did he did everything for her, right? So when he passed away, like all the stuff that he used to do for her, she felt that if she took the garbage out, like she was throwing him out, or
Mhm.
if she did this, like she was taking a piece away from him. And it made sense. These people, this couple had been together for 60 plus years. I mean, so it was just, once you peeled the onion back, it was like a very sad, like it still makes a hair stand up on my arms today, like just remembering. And she was going to California, and it was just like, I can't help you. Like I could get a
Mhm.
decluttering service, but she didn't want to do any of that. And there was rats and dead cats, and like it was, I probably should have reached out to somebody and called, because if there's ever a fire there, she's never getting out at all. So I don't know if
Yeah,
she ended up moving, but it wasn't with us. I can tell you.
yeah. I commend 1-800 Got Junk, for the amazing service that they've provided over the years and how successful they've been doing with this. And I've tried to, like I said, when I got my declutter service set up, you know, um, I tried to have like not comparable rates, but like good rates for it, because it's like people really want to pay a lot to get thrown out. You gotta think about it, So they're like, okay, how do you make this make sense? How do you weigh it to make it make sense? And I know that I read a lot of books on declutter. Talk about a lot of the stuff. If it's in reasonable shape, you can pawn it off. You can make money from it.
Dude, I tell you
Crap
what
out
I
of the
do.
yard.
I love, we've got a junk removal. It's like J Dog Junk Removal around here. It's like a veteran owned organization that does this junk removal piece. But dude, they want to like $500 for like a back of a pickup truck full with like a high box on it.
Mhm.
Like, man, no way am I paying five. Like, this is, again, it's junk to me, but it's not junk to somebody. I put that stuff on the curb, right? Just lined it all up. Boom, boom, boom. Went on the old trusty Facebook Marketplace and wrote free curb alert and did a video and took individual pictures. Speaking of cockroaches, within like 10 minutes of that posting, I had cars pulling up left and right, just heaving stuff. It was gone for free. Like, so now I leverage the marketplace for, dude, even little, like, I had an old washer that crapped the bed. Now, sure, could I take it for the $6 and scrap? But I got to load it in a truck, and like, no, no, no. So I dragged it to the front porch. Actually, put it on a four-wheel dolly, the old moving. I still have my dolly. Probably should return that to the moving company I work for. I forgot it was in the trunk of my work car. I've had it for years now, but I put it on the front porch, and same thing went boom, free. Come get it. This guy was like 70 years old, backed in my driveway with a van, had his little broken dolly, manhandled this thing, tossed it in. He drove 25 minutes away to get here, only to take it down the street and scrap it for $6. This
Mm.
guy's pouring gas to get to and from, but he got that $5. So yeah, I respect the decluttering and junk removal game, but depending what you got, Facebook and Curb Alert, man, it goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah, no, you're right. And like I said, just taking it to the junkyard for overhead purposes, it's like one ton, like 65, 75 bucks. And, obviously it's either doubled or, whatever the case may be. So you're like, damn, 2 tons, 150, $200. Well, how much am I really making from this at this point for 2 tons? And, like you said, $500, what you need to be junk. And who wants to pay that much for something they don't care about?
Yeah, dude, there's times like our old refrigerator. That was a nice stainless steel. It was probably like a 2 grand refrigerator back in its day. Like I don't remember what we paid for it, but it just, the compressor, it was just jacked up. It just quit working, right? So I'm just like, man, curb alert. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna test the waters with this. I put a $75 price tag on it, brought it out there, and I had people fighting for it.
Mm.
Now, to repair it, it was like 400 some odd dollars for the one pump. And I'm just like, man, by the time I do all that, I might as well just go out and get a new damn one. Lowe's is offering 0% for 6 months. So that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, dude, now I'm like actually selling my junk. Broken TV,
Okay.
$10. Like it's so silly. But hey, I'm gonna get what I can get at this point. Taxes are
Yeah,
going,
definitely.
wages aren't, you know?
So, all right. So what, I guess, so obviously, was there any, I guess, what was the downfall, I guess, topics like that was discussed at the event? Like, obviously I know people didn't do that well this season.
What was the, I see you broke up a little bit.
I guess what was the down talk this year at the event? Was there, because I know everybody didn't do well this summer.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, understanding the financials, and we've talked about this a bunch of times. There was a lot of companies that stayed full. They were running their trucks, but they don't have any cash flow, and they didn't understand why. So, and it's like, what do you mean? You ran 3 trucks all summer long, and you don't have any money in the bank? And they're like, no. So I'm like, well, what are you spending it on? You buying watches, cars, this? No. They literally just they didn't know their numbers. So what they're charging per hour, in reality, after a few hours, they're actually losing money per hour. And they
Hmm.
didn't know that because what they're doing, they're spending so much time paying attention to their competitors and their competitors' price. And my whole thing is like every company has, as you know, different overhead. Some
Hmm.
companies have to charge $225 an hour for 3 people in the truck. Some companies can charge 180, because they don't have 12 trucks. They don't have 60 freaking people working for them. They don't have 19 people in the office, which is ridiculous. Um, so a lot of these guys were just going out being like, oh, Dwight's charging 150. All right, I'm gonna go 140. But they didn't realize their cost is 110. So they're making $30 an hour. And then you're subtracting all that stuff. It's a loser when they
It
should be
sounds
charging 190,
it
So
sounds like a broken record because it just seems like these are topics that's been discussed over and over and over.
yeah,
And and it's just like people are still doing the same things and realizing that the results is the same, you
it's
know.
so great. You know,
So every
it's
time I do
frustrating.
my morning walk and try to give a little motivation, I'm like, what is there new to say? And I'm always pondering. And I'm just like, people are having the same issues.
Yeah, until people wake up and smell the gross profit margins, like it's gonna be tough. But I have these conversations, man, every day. Every day I'm doing sales audit calls with moving companies. It's a number one thing. Once these guys open up and they're honest. Now at first it's there's this, there's not enough leads, there's not this, and then once you peel
Hmm.
back the onion, it's like no, you're getting 250 leads per month. If you were to close all those leads per month, could you handle them? Oh, no, we couldn't because we only have 3 trucks. Okay. So do you need more leads or do you just sink your claws into the current? What does the process look like? And then on top of that, what are you charging? Because you keep saying this, that, what have you. So no, it's, honestly, I think it's a lot of, moving company owners and moving companies being honest with themselves
Hmm.
about where they're at and what they're doing because the guy I talked to the other day, oh, I'm crushing it, I'm this, I'm that, I did that, and then we had a call, and as I'm asking the questions, I'm like, something ain't making sense, and
Yeah.
come to find out, he's literally like leveraging his own finances, his personal finances, to assist with payroll, to assist with buying boxes. Like he's not using company money to keep it afloat. He's using his money.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's
what
insane.
what changed in 48 hours? You went from crushing it to you're writing checks out of your personal bank account to pump payroll.
Yeah,
We've got deeper issues here. So, but again, sometimes it's that humbling, put the ego aside, check it at the door. And if you want to be successful and you do want to grow and scale, and by growth and scale, I don't mean adding trucks and crews, but maximizing your operations, like you got to be honest with yourself.
hmm
The
No, it
numbers
definitely
tell the
makes
story.
sense. Um, and I think having a good CRM is crucial. And I'm not even talking about just for all the bells and whistles that a CRM offers. I'm talking about just like a CRM that has accurate reporting, not overcoming some reporting. You got 30 reports in your CRM telling you all something in the same way, but shaped differently.
Guys,
But
we've got to become better doctors, sort of say, in this
hmm
industry, right? When you start seeing the symptoms, and again, I echo your point, having that CRM system where you have real-time data, right? So when you have the real-time data, you have access to all the reports, you can start sniffing out some of those symptoms or sicknesses that are coming to the business rather than wait until the business is dead. The medical examiner shows up and says, "Oh yeah, no heartbeat, business is dead. Well, no shit, it's dead. But why did it die? And how did we not stop this from dying? So between leveraging CRM systems and just being ahead of the game, being more proactive versus reactive. This industry is very reactive, as you know.
Yeah.
It's we work all month long. At the end of the month, it's like, okay, shoot, we brought in 250,000, and we mean we paid out 260,000. Like, how did you not know that? How did you
Hmm.
not know that? But again, not having systems and processes in place, it's very simple how they did. Um,
Yeah. I think one of the things is we use this the lead stats report that told us, oh well, we lost this customer because the price was too high, or um they went with another mover. Whatever the status was, we would look at that and we would see what was the percentage of customers that we lost that was due to price
Yep.
or due to the lead went stale, because we took too long working so many other leads that we couldn't get that lead in. And we would look at those reports and we would have the manager meet and we would say, well, hey, so I see that most of the prices are high. Is this accurate, versus, people just put in reasons, or, what have you been hearing on the phone? Yeah, we've, constantly hearing that, they're going with a competitor because the prices are okay.
I'd always challenge that one though, because we did do that, and to me it was easy for the sales rep to be like, "Oh, price too high, price too high." Where to me
Mhm.
it was like you didn't provide enough value, and if the price was too high, by how much? Do you not have those details? Just price too high? Because if you're losing moves, but and you're $200 to $500 higher than the competitor on a larger move, like you should be losing that. You just provided zero value. I have no
Mm.
problem on a $10,000 move. We'll say if my price is 10,300, the other guy's 10,300, but yet I'm getting the love and the attention and everything I need from Dwyght for $300 more. Why would I not go with Dwyght? Like I'm not
Yeah.
price stopping over 300 bucks. Now, local move, $1,000 versus 1,700. Yeah, that's a difference. I want to know what the difference is. Um, but yeah, to me, it's every time I saw the price thing, it was, is it price or is it value? And if
Mhm.
it is price, by how much? Because
Well,
to me,
that leads to the next call. Making sure you're listening to your call for your sales reps, and and being able to coach them on what they're missing without judging. Hey, you know what? We had a 21-point checklist. Did they say their name on it? Did they upsell any services on that call? Besides what the customer called in for. Did they repeat the customer's phone number to the customer just to make sure that they had the right information? And it's weird because you're like, oh, why are we so corporate about it? But it's just like, no, because all this is building stones to building a rapport. And then basically, did they quickly get the quote, or did they go through the whole process? Did they go through the script? Did they go through, hey, this is what we're going to do for you by offering you the value that we're going to bring to you, and then talk about price?
yep.
Because so many customers call, and I've been on sales calls where they're like, yeah, I got this, got this, got this. What's the price of this? And
Yeah.
you're like, well, geez, okay, well, hang on, hang on. And you kind of have to work them a little bit and then go into all the details. And we're like, oh yeah, well, the guys are gonna do this. And then basically, this is how we charge and this is how we do this. And then, oh yeah, well, hey, now that we got all that out of the way, here's your price.
Yeah, no, if
Yeah.
you lead with price, if any company starts off leading with price, it's going to screw everybody in that market. Because if I call Dwight's moving company, you're like, oh yeah, $900. I'm gonna go, okay, well, that was easy. Let me call moving company number two, Ryan's company. Oh, hey, I'm 800. Okay, shoot, I got $100 less. Now I'm gonna call ABC moving company. Oh, you're 750? Okay. Next thing you know, Dwight's calling Ryan to follow up to see, hey, where are we at with our price? And oh, I got 750. Can you match it? And then Dwight's like, yeah, I'll do it for 725. It just turns into like the price is right. But the price is wrong.
Hmm. And
But
that's why I feel like sometimes like a New York company competing in Florida market is definitely a different market, because in New York, we get the regulations that, hey, you don't, if the customer moves exceed 10% of the actual cost, we ain't gonna say what, afterwards, but the regulation, right?
Yeah.
So
Send them a
with
bill down there. You got to collect up to 110%, and the rest, good luck trying to capture.
so, but in Florida, it's just like I was dealing with people like, oh, well, we have a 2 hour minimum, 150 an hour, plus fuel and surcharge. And yeah, that's the price. And it's like, whoa, but I just gave you a whole layout of a 3 bedroom. We know it's not going to take 2 hours. So then 9 hours later into this job, you're like, oh yeah, pay us $1,200. And you're just like, whoa, I never even budgeted for $1,200. I didn't know it was gonna take that long. Well, you still gotta pay us. And you're just like,
Dude,
what the
I
hell?
love doing those. Like I go out and I give an estimate, 7 hour, 7.5 hour local move, and the customer will be like, right, this company quoted me 3 hours. And I'm like, really? I'm like, is it a guaranteed price? And they're like, no. I'm like, do you think you can move with 6 of your best friends, most athletic, whatever? Do you think you can physically move your house in 3 hours to and from? And they're like, well, no, but they say they can do it. And my thing is like, hey, if you can get it in writing, it's a guaranteed prices, go at it. Go if they can move it. If these guys are unicorns, let them do that. But that's just not realistic. Like, so I always try to put like a little like put the customer in the shoes of the mover as to how long do you think it's going to take. But we had a formula for that too, right? Each room, 1,000 pounds, 1 hour to and from. You got 5,000 pounds. It's going to take just over 5 hours to do your move. If somebody can do it less than that by adding 6, 7 crew members, great. But then your price should be a heck of a lot higher because they're adding more crew members. But to have 2 guys in a truck move 6,500 pounds in 3 hours to and from, and it's a 2-story walk up. No, thank you. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. We had one customer who took up 2 26-foot trucks and was like, now we only originally we quoted her the 1 26-foot truck based on what she had told us about. But we had to make 2 trips. And she was like, well, the last guys, they got this whole job done in 4 hours. It ain't no way. And then she was like, oh yeah, each of them was carrying sofa on their backs by themselves. So it wasn't like they were, utilizing a 2 man carry or anything like that. Oh, so you're dealing with those type of guys, huh? The ones that use the hump strap, carry boxes on their
Yeah.
back.
It still didn't take them 4 hours. Like, no way. That's insane.
So, but those are the customers you deal with, in the crazy industry. But
Hey, it's okay to say no. It's okay
Mhm.
to say no. Firm believer in that.
So, hey, so we are at the top of the time, y'all. So again, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. We do these episodes every week whenever Ryan ain't busy. But yeah. So yeah, so definitely reach out. We definitely like to drop these gems, let y'all know, where we can help you guys out at. If you didn't make the Moving Titans retreat, that hey, they're having another event in March. Definitely, I would recommend being there because these guys are Wade and Chad are really doing something great. So definitely get out there, Anything on your end, Brian?
No, I mean, I'm just still trying to, I'm hopeful that next Thursday I'll be out in Vegas at the IM conference, and maybe I'm going to do my best to, because it'll be what? No, 9 a.m. this time, 6 a.m. out in Vegas. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make that one. I'll try. I'll try to be pretty cool to go live, but it's going to be, well, Vegas is never dead. But yeah,
Yeah, who
6 in the
sleeps in
morning.
Vegas?
We'll see what we can do. If you can shift the show a couple hours ahead or something like that, maybe we can do a little I'll jump on a show live from the Supermove Nook booth that we've got rented there. So
Nice.
we'll get some action, and maybe we'll go out and interview some people or something like that.
That'd be awesome. So yeah, definitely next year I plan to be in a lot of these conferences as well. So, for your faces that are watching, definitely expect to see me in the building, a little bit more next year or so like that. Just gotta work out a lot of kinks on mine. But I'll be there.
I'll get it. You'll be there, man.
But all right, y'all. Y'all take care. Keep crushing it out there. Let's see.